Hey everyone, it's Jack from Thailand here, and today is the Thanksgiving Friday, and I'm here at the San Sab River, heading to Minburi. So in this video, I'm going to show you a bike route that I take to Minburi, and what is there in Minburi that you can enjoy cycling. So right now it's pretty cool. You don't get a lot of cool weather in Bangkok, so it's nice to be out here and cycling in this kind of time. So I think right now it's about 6 a.m. in the morning, so the sun just came up a little bit ago. So this is like the perfect time to be cycling. Anyway, so the best way to get to Minburi is to follow the San Sab River here. But anyway, the San Sab River is a pretty long river. Like it extends all the way to, I think, Pratu Nam. So if you know how to get to a San Sab River from anywhere in Bangkok, you can come to Minburi pretty easily by following the river. Unfortunately, the bike route like this in Minburi is not very good. So there'll be some portion of the route that you have to walk because the path is too narrow for you to bike on. And of course, once you get here, you have to like get off your bike like this and then get it up and get it down. So not the best ideal route for uninterrupted ride. But I like this route. Because there's not a lot of things for me to worry about. Like there's no cars. It's made for cycling specifically, but most of the people just walk here. So the only thing I need to watch out for here are like motorcycles and some people standing or walking around here, which is a lot better than watching out for the cars on the road in Bangkok, because you know we have a lot of traffic. And yeah, it's basically more relaxing to be riding on this route rather than on the road. I could go on the Rongkampeng road right now, but I'd rather stay here because there's no pollution here. Well, at least a lot less than the pollution on the road, but the river here sometimes smells pretty bad, so there's some pollution here. But it's a lot better than smelling the exhaust smoke from the vehicles. And I like the shade here too. So lots of trees, lots of things for you to get cover under. And not to mention, there's a lot of things to see around here too. So this route is basically a backyard of a lot of people. So a lot of people have a house like onto the right side and to the left side on the other side of the river. You get to see how people live their daily life in this neighborhood. And I think it's a lot better than seeing what people in the city live like. So this is almost like a countryside kind of living. So it's pretty calm and pretty relaxed. Now if you notice there was a dog there, so you have to be careful when you're riding near a dog in Thailand because they can bite you if they get surprised or something. So be careful. Anyway, now I had to get off my bike again. So yeah, it pays to know how to get off and get on your bike quickly in this route. But it beats, for me, beats driving on the road for the most part. Now for this bike route, you have to get on the road eventually. Right now it's not that bad on the road because it's early in the morning. But if you go later in the day, The weather will be really hot because the sun will be on the top of the sky, and you get a bunch of cars on the road, so it's harder to breathe air when you're on it. Anyway, let me show you something on the left. So you see that kind of like a thing that people use to get across the river. So people can use the lever on that thing to spin themselves across the river. Pretty nice here, right? Don't expect to see that anywhere else. They just built a bridge, but this here, they use a floating platform with a lever. Pretty cool, isn't it? Anyway, if you look to my left, you can see a mosque, Islamic mosque, right there. So a lot of people who live around here are Muslim, and they live in this area quite heavily, and including in Mainbury as well. So this area is known for Muslim community, and sometimes if you come here at the right time, you can hear them praying. So they have like a little loudspeaker somewhere, and you can hear them praying from really far away. Like if you just come here, you know. But then again, oh, this road is pretty bad. But then again, it's kind of add the uniqueness to this place. So if you come and eat in restaurant around here, most of them are Muslim restaurant, and one thing that Muslim people don't eat is pork. So basically all the restaurants here are made with non-pork, like seafood and chicken only, and beef too. So it's a pretty nice way to change your diet if you want to not eat pork for some reason. And of course, the restaurant here doesn't sell alcohol too. So that's kind of like downside, right, for some people. But on the plus side, there won't be a lot of alcoholic here. And they also don't allow you to bring your own alcoholic beverage to that restaurant too. So some people are pretty strict about that, but yeah, mostly they're pretty nice. I met a few of them. Yeah, and one reason why the people here get along in Thailand is because we have a unifying figure such as the king. So imagine you have a bunch of population with different background, like Muslim, Buddhist, Christian. But for some reason in Thailand we live along quite well, unlike in other countries where certain type of immigrants are causing a bunch of troubles there. But here people get along pretty well because we believe in our king, who is a unifying figure for Thailand. And that is a good thing, because when people disagree with one another, they can still get along when someone they look up to is the same person. So they don't use a lot of violence when they disagree with one another, unlike in other countries. So that's what's good about Thailand. Thailand is like a mixture of different people who live in the same country. It's kind of like America. It's kind of like the United States in that way. Anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying this ride. So up ahead is the shipyard, I guess. So you can see the abandoned ship over here. So pretty interesting. So these are the ships that takes people from this river to Chao Phraya River and back and forth. So it's like a ship bus, and they built it right here to my right. And that's there again. Yeah, so pretty interesting to see how things are working here. So if you look to my right, there's a bunch of ships being built. So made in Thailand ships. And of course, if you look to the left, there's a bunch of trash from the production here. So yeah, this is pretty common in Thailand. A lot of trash laying out in public. But I think they're working on that, and they're working on to make the rivers in Thailand more presentable to tourists. So I saw one of the project. I just been there yesterday. It's called Klong Ong Ang, and it's near Chinatown in Bangkok. It's pretty short. It's a pretty small section of the river, but they made it pretty nice. They put a bunch of fake trees, fake plants, and put in like the tiles on the walkway. So it looks like a European country kind of place. But on the downside, it's pretty small. So in order for them to do something like that for the rest of the Bangkok, like this, especially this Sunset River, it would take them maybe 10 years or something like that. So I wouldn't expect that anytime soon around here. But it's a good thing that there's some effort being made to make that happen. So if you look to my left, there's a bunch of fishing nets. So some people actually fish around here. I asked if the river here is pretty safe to be fishing from. They say that the fish these days are fed with a bunch of chemicals and who knows what. So the fish that are raised in the farm are probably almost as dirty, or if not more dirty, than the fishes from this river. Because at least the fish from this river are in the wild, so they don't take all the chemical from the farm that are designed to grow them faster. But then again, there's a lot of pollution in this river too, like a lot of oil, a lot of waste that people throw into. A lot of factory like around this area like let their waste, dump their waste into the rivers. Now in Thailand there are laws against that, but people just do it anyway. If you have enough money in Thailand, you can get away with almost anything here. And that's one example. So I gotta watch out for dog again. Mostly the dogs in Thailand are pretty nice. They get away from you if you try to ride a bike like that one over there. But sometimes they're sleeping, so they can't tell if you're coming. So at least I gotta make sure that they know that I'm coming so that they won't be surprised when I get near them. And when I get near them, and if they're surprised, they might bite me. So you have to make sure that they know you're coming if you're riding a bike in Thailand, or if you're walking near a dog in Thailand. There's a bunch of dogs walking around, and sometimes they sleep in the middle of the road on the walkway. So you gotta make sure that they know you're coming. Like that one over there, that's a small dog over there. Now I think he sees me, so he's gonna make way for me, see? Oh, he sees the other bike too, so yeah. So you see the dogs in Thailand are pretty nice. They're not mean at all. So it's nice to see how people live around here. And some of the places here are like schools and offices, so it's not just houses. So it's good to see what it's like in Thailand outside of the main city. So we're getting pretty close to the part where the bike route has no railing. So this part is a little bit hard to ride if you're starting to cycling. So you have to be really careful if you're new. But I've been through here quite a few times already. So I just switched to my low gear and move on. The only thing I worry about here are the uneven paths that I have to go through, like this part here. But if you have a mountain bike, that should be pretty easy. And you have to also watch out for people who are passing. So yeah, I don't know why, but during this time there's a lot of people walking, so I'm just gonna be walking the bike as I don't want to get off too many times. That's a guy ahead of me. So yeah, it's good to enjoy this path. As you can see, there's no railing on the sides, so pretty fun to ride around here. ขอบคุณครับ So yeah, gotta make sure that you stop for the people if you're gonna walk alongside them. Not only there's not a lot of railings here, so not only this path doesn't have a lot of railings, the path itself is it's a little bit narrower than usual. So that's why you gotta be more careful. So I was worried about this path a lot, and yeah, I was worrying about this thing to fall. Last time I was here, this thing was still intact. So they kind of fall down. So I had to be really careful here because I don't want to fall down also. But when I was riding this route earlier, that part of the bridge was intact, and I was really worried because I saw them fixing it, and apparently the fix didn't work out. So whoever fell down there must be pretty in bad shape. So that's why you gotta be careful in Thailand. You're on your own most of the time, so make sure that you know what you're doing. So I'm gonna get off my bike again so you can enjoy the view. Except that if you look to my right, there's a bunch of trash here. So this is a pretty common theme in Thailand, a bunch of trash in areas where nobody is inhabiting. So I guess in Thailand we have a problem where So I guess in Thailand we have a trash problem where like people don't know where to throw the trash at, and they just throw it at the place where they don't see anybody living. And if you buy a piece of land in Thailand and you don't live there for a long time, eventually you can be finding out your land full of trash from other people around your land. So don't know how to prevent that. So the best way to do that, the best way to buy land is to buy lands away from other people. But then again, your land won't appreciate in value. So yeah, depending on how you look at it, it's a different perspective. But yeah, the trash problem in Thailand is pretty big, and as you can see around here, they're pretty evident. So if you look to my left, right now there's a factory. I don't know what kind of factory they are, but yeah, this area is not just for residential. There's a bunch of factories and houses. So people who live along the river, as you can see earlier, are obviously not rich people. But there's some pretty big houses around here too. But if you look to my left here, there's a pretty big mansion right here. So all kind of rich people, all kind of people live here, rich and poor, doesn't matter. Mostly the poor people who live here have been here for a long time, so that's how they can afford to have the land in this area. it used to be really cheap. This area used to be just a rice field, but that was like 20 years ago, I think, 20 to 30 years ago. So if you bought this land around here that long ago, you pretty much made a lot of profit if you sell it now. But yeah, this is pretty nice. If you look to my left here, this is a restaurant called Home Fresh. I've been there once, but what they do is basically they have like their own garden and they grow their own food there. So if you order a salad there, they actually use the vegetable from their own garden. So pretty neat, huh? So right now I'm gonna go on the road. This is Ram Kam Hang Road, and as you can see, there's a lot of cars here already. So I'm gonna get to this road and keep on going to that way. So it's Friday today, and Thanksgiving is not a holiday in Thailand, so there's a bunch of cars here still. So that's why I'm staying on the sidewalk, because it's safer here. But now I have to get out because the sidewalk is not very well designed, as you can see there. I cannot ride on that. And there's a lot of water on the ground, so I'm going to be switching between the sidewalk and the street for the optimal route. So this is how having a mountain bike come in pretty handy in Bangkok. So in Bangkok we don't have mountain. Pretty much Bangkok is flat, but the road here are pretty bad sometimes, so you gotta improvise. So right now I think the road is pretty clear, so I'm gonna go on the road next. And that's how you ride a bike in Bangkok. Now in terms of safety, riding a bike in Bangkok is mostly pretty safe. If you stay on the left side of the road like this, so nothing to worry about. Most of the cars are pretty careful and they see you when you're riding a bike. And I also wear a mirror right here, so I can see behind me without looking back. So I really like these mirrors, pretty useful. But anyway, there's not a lot of cars here right now, and this road is usually not pretty busy. So that's why I like to take this route. There are a lot of busier routes in Bangkok, and I don't think that's very enjoyable because of the pollution. So finally I'm here at the road where I want to show you guys. So right here is in Minburi, and let me show you the coordinate in the GPS so you can see where I'm at. So this road is pretty rocky, so you need a mountain bike for this kind of route. And as you can see, it's pretty much on the countryside. So I like this kind of road because it's pretty quiet and pretty fun to be on a mountain bike on this kind of road. So this area has a lot of rice farming and other kind of agriculture going on. So it's really nice to be able to come see something like this in Bangkok, or not too far from Bangkok, and see what outside of Bangkok is like. So if you live in Bangkok for a while, I think it's getting pretty boring if you see like all the traffic and to inhale all the pollution all the time. So it's nice to come here. So this area has a lot of dust, but no pollution from the cars. So I'll take that as a trade-off. But here we are at the rice field. So if you look to my left, you can see all the greens that you can see. So I think there are some fishes in the water of the rice field, because you can see some of the birds, the white birds, around a lot, and they don't eat rice, they actually eat fish. So there's probably something in the water they're looking to get. So there's a saying in Thailand called, in the water there's fish, and in the field there are rice. So it's like, in Thailand we have so much food here that we can get rice and fish in the same place. And if you look around here, there's some kind of agriculture going on. I don't know what exactly these are, but it looks like they're growing some grass. And if you look to my right, they actually cut a patch of grass that then they sell at the gardening shop, where people can get the patch of grass and put it in their garden. So I think this is why they grow them here. So pretty beautiful still, a lot of green. Lots of green still. So if you're gonna come here, make sure you got a mountain bike at least, because the path is pretty rough. So I don't think a road bike will do well here. Yeah, it's pretty beautiful, huh? Yeah, so this is how people live in the rural neighborhood of Thailand. So it's pretty amazing to know that this is only like an hour at least from Bangkok. But if you live on the edge of Bangkok, this may be closer to you. So it's pretty amazing to see how this is not very far from Bangkok at all. And you can see something like this. There's a lot of grass on that truck. Lots of money to be made there. Don't know how much money worth of stuff is in there, but it looks a lot here. So if you look around here, you notice that the house, they don't have the fence or the wall around them. And that is probably because the neighborhood here are pretty safe. So nobody's bothering with the wall and fences. And if you look at the house here, you don't see them covered with some kind of metals on the window to prevent people from breaking in. So I guess people in here are pretty nice to one another. Even though that the houses are pretty big, people they don't seem to be concerned about their security too much. So yeah, I really like this neighborhood. Seems like a lot of rich people around here also. But if you look to my right, we have the Ong Bung Quang. So this is pretty much like the Sunset River route that I just took earlier, but it's a little bit different in a way that it has much more trees when you get a little bit deeper into the route. And I was here once and I got lost because there was so much route here that you can take. And you can even, I think, use this route to eventually get to the Suvarnabhumi airport from here. But I'm probably not gonna get there this time because it's kind of like later in the morning now, so it's getting hot. But yeah, this route is pretty extensive, so you can take this route along the river to many places. If you come outside, you can see much more beautiful scenic route that you don't get to see in a big city. Now the only problem with this kind of route is that you can't go very fast because you can see a bunch of stuff here, a bunch of obstacles and other people riding around. So you gotta be pretty careful. And most people here don't ride really fast either. So you gotta be careful. Now at least on this route you get the railings on the side, right? But if you look on the right side, you see where all the houses are, and there's no railing on the other side. So I'd rather stay safe if I can. But yeah, if you look to the right, you can see a bunch of fishing net, and all kinds of old houses. Yeah, pretty beautiful. So I gotta say, the route here is a lot more safe than the route that I took in Klong San Sap, because the road seems more sturdy. So although they seem to be needing some maintenance as well, but I think they are more sturdy than the one along San Sap River. So this route is pretty nice because you get to see all the old neighborhood of how people live in Thailand. So yeah, some shops, I think they open on the weekend, so they're not open right now. It's Friday, but yeah, lots of trees, lots of big trees. And if you look to my left, there's like an animal shelter for farm animals. Like I think this one they have like goats, goats and cattle on the left side. So you see like the old kind of lifestyle still pretty much alive in Bangkok. Well, not in Bangkok, but in a place pretty near Bangkok here. And it's pretty fun to be around here. Lots of tree here, so I had to get off my bike. Yeah. So if you like exploring places not taken by many others, this is it. This is one of the places where you can come to. And I don't see anybody here who are just like a cyclist like me. Most of them are just locals who live nearby. So the paths can get pretty up and down, and sometimes I have to walk over. Like this one is pretty bad in surface. And if you look at the ground below earlier, it seems like the surface was really in need of repair. So I'm not going to step on that. So in Thailand, if you want to stay safe, you have to use your common sense and stay away from dangerous places and try to get yourself safe by your own common sense. Most places in Thailand are pretty dangerous, so you have to kind of be able to think on your own. Especially this kind of place where there's no railing and some of the paths can be pretty weak and could be collapsing at any time. So gotta be careful. But the reward is outweighing the risk, I guess, because you see so much here that you don't get to see on the normal road in Bangkok. I was thinking about one thing, like in Thailand we have so much food here. So I think nobody in Thailand is probably gonna die from not having food, which will may have like a problem later on with the COVID-19 being a thing. But in Thailand, you can die from anything here, but you're not gonna die from not having food to eat. So it's like the good and bad of Thailand. So you gotta think about if you like that kind of trade-off or not. I mean, you can stay pretty safe here too if you don't go outside at all, but what's the point, right? So I'm on this route now where if I keep going, I will get to the Suvarnabhumi International Airport. So this route, I don't know how long it is, but according to the map, it should go pretty far ahead. So I don't know how long I will keep going, but yeah, this is pretty much what I wanted to show you guys. The neighborhood outside of Bangkok where the life here is still pretty much like Thailand in about 10 to 20 years ago. So things are pretty old here. And as you can see, there's a mosque here again. So a lot of Muslim people here. But yeah, people are nice here. Yeah, so there was a shop there. As you can see in Thailand, there's so much convenience store here. I'm surprised that there's no 7-Eleven around here. So back in the days when there was no 7-Eleven, that's how people go to the convenience store, like that. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoy watching this video, and I'll see you guys again soon. Bye bye.